0.06. Costo from Canada is fourth up 25.61. Pierre Gable from France in Brabham Strait is third. Pierre Gable improved is P3 with a 107.825. 1.960 off pole. Oliver Stead in Halewoods Hill is P4. Oliver Stead is up 14.87 in Graham Hill Bend. Neil Pardo from England in Clark Curve is P4. Neil improved is P4 with a 108.739. 2.874 off pole. Pierre Gable in Graham Hill Bend is P3 up 0.50. Pierre Gable is provisional pole with a 107.119. Neil in Clark Curve is P4. Costo in Surtees Bend is P1 up 0.16. Jenkweed in Halewoods Hill is 6th. Costo is provisional pole with a 105.836. 50 minutes remaining in the session. Jenkweed is up 18.84 in Surtees Bend. Jenk wheat is up 13.86 in Druids Bend. Jenk wheat is up 14.74 in Surtees Bend. Jenk wheat improved is P3 with a 106.852. 1.016 off pole. Pierre Gable is fourth. Carry No Face is second up 0.10. Jenk wheat in Paddock Hill Bend is P3. Best lap is a 106.852. 1.016 off pole. Oliver Stead in Paddock Hill Bend is sixth. Costo in Halewoods Hill is P1. Costo is up 0.31 in Surtees Bend. Costo is provisional pole with a 105.279. Oliver Stead in Paddock Hill Bend is P6. "45 minutes remaining in the session. Carry No Face in McLaren Bend is P2. Jenk wheat in Cooper Strait is P3. Oliver Stead in Paddock Hill Bend is 6th. Oliverstead is up 0.04 in Graham Hill Bend. Neil Pardo is P5 up 0.10. Oliverstead in Brabham Strait is 6th. Oliverstead improved is P5 with a 108.703. 3.424 off pole. Neil in Brabham Strait is 6th. Neil Pardo improved is 5th with a 108.132. 2.853 off pole. Jenkweit in Clark Curve is 3rd. Jenkweit improved is 3rd with a 106.667. 1.388 off pole. Skiddy from United States in Paddock Hill Bend is 5th. Skiddy is up 0.77 in Graham Hill Bend. Skiddy improved is P3 with a 106.544. 1.265 off pole. Simon of the Desert from United States in Druids Bend is 8th. Best lap is a 110.480. 5.201 off pole. Costo in Druids Bend is 1st. Best lap is a 105.279. 40 minutes remaining in the session. Carry No Face in Clark Curve is 2nd. Jenkweit in Graham Hill Bend is 4th up 0.10. Simon of the Desert from United States in Halewoods Hill is 8th. Simon of the Desert is up 0.28 in Cooper Strait. Carry no face is P2. Simon of the Desert in Paddock Hill Bend is P8. Simon of the Desert is up 0.59 in Graham Hill Bend. Simon of the Desert improved is P9 with a 109.638. 4.359 off pole. Simon of the Desert is up 0.89 in Druids Bend. Simon of the Desert is up 1.34 in Surtees Bend. Simon of the Desert improved is 9th with a 109.298. 4.019 off pole. Simon of the Desert is up 0.31 in Druids Bend. Simon of the Desert is up 0.02 in Surtees Bend. "35 minutes remaining in the session. Simon of the Desert improved is 8th with a 108.567. 3.288 off pole. Skiddy in Surtees Bend is 4th up 0.10. Simon of the Desert is 8th up 0.25. Skiddy in Brabham Strait is P4. Skiddy improved is P3 with a 106.380. 1.101 off pole. Pierre Gable in Clark Curve is P6. Simon of the Desert in Brabham Strait is P8. Simon of the Desert improved is P7 with a 107.750. 2.471 off pole. Pierre Gable in Druids Bend is 6th up 0.78. Pierre Gable is up 1.07 in Surtees Bend. Neil is 8th. Neil is up 0.33 in Cooper Strait. Oliver Stead in Paddock Hill Bend is 10th. Neil in Halewoods Hill is P8. Best lap is a 1:08.101. 2.822 off pole. Octavio 67 from Spain in Halewoods Hill is P11. Octavio 67 is up 1.61 in Surtees Bend. 30 minutes remaining in the session. Octavio 67 improved is P3 with a 1:06.187. 0.908 off pole. Neil in Cooper Strait is P9 up 0.51. Neil Pardo improved is 8th with a 1:07.636. 2.357 off pole. Octavio 67 in McLaren Bend is P3 up 0.33. Octavio 67 improved is 3rd with a 1:05.831. 0.552 off pole. Kerry No Face in Cooper Strait is 5th up 0.18. Carry no face improved is P4 with a 106.250. 0.971 off pole. Simon of the Desert is 10th up 0.21. Simon of the Desert improved is 8th with a 107.192. 1.913 off pole. Octavio 67 is P3 up 0.33. Octavio 67 improved is P2 with a 105.359. 0.080 off pole. Costo in Cooper Strait is first. Jenkweed in Paddock Hill Bend is P6. "25 minutes remaining in the session. Carry no face is P4. Best lap is a 106.250. 0.971 off pole. Simon of the Desert in Paddock Hill Bend is 8th. Carry no face in Brabham Strait is P4. Pierre Gable from France in Paddock Hill Bend is 7th. Octavio 67 in Cooper Strait is P2. Best lap is a 105.359. 0.080 off pole. Melero from Brazil in Halewoods Hill is P11. Melero is up 0.68 in Cooper Strait. Melero improved is 11th with a 107.691. 2.412 off pole. Carry no face in Brabham Strait is P4. Carry no face improved is P4 with a 105.928. 0.649 off pole. Oliver Stead in Brabham Strait is 12th. Oliver Stead improved is 12th with a 108.472. 3.193 off pole. Carry no face is 4th up 0.13. Oliver Stead is 12th. Carry no face is P4 up 0.10. Carry no face improved is 4th with a 105.745. 0.466 off pole. Octavio 67 in Halewoods Hill is 2nd. Oliver Stead is 12th. "20 minutes remaining in the session. Carry no face in Surtees Bend is P4. Melero from Brazil in Halewoods Hill is 11th. Best lap is a 107.691. 2.412 off pole. Pierre Gable is P7 up 0.10. Pierre Gable improved is 7th with a 107.033. 1.754 off pole. Oliver Stead in McLaren Bend is P12. Melero in Halewoods Hill is P11. Oliver Stead in Paddock Hill Bend is 12th. Melero in Cooper Strait is 11th up 0.18. Melero improved is 9th with a 107.175. 1.896 off pole. Oliver Stead is 12th up 0.48. Simon of the Desert in Surtees Bend is P8 up 0.37. Simon of the Desert improved is 7th with a 106.893. 1.614 off pole. Melero in Clark Curve is P9. Melero improved is P5 with a 106.206. 0.927 off pole. Skiddy in Druids Bend is 6th. Best lap is a 106.380. 1.101 off pole. Melero is P5 up 0.10. Melero is up 0.33 in McLaren Bend. "15 minutes remaining in the session. Melero improved is 5th with a 105.837. 0.558 off pole. Simon of the Desert in Graham Hill Bend is 8th up 0.25. Simon of the Desert improved is P6 with a 106.347. 1.068 off pole. Skiddy from United States in Brabham Strait is 7th. Skiddy improved is 6th with a 106.040. 0.761 off pole. Octavio 67 in Halewoods Hill is P2. Octavio 67 is up 0.17 in Surtees Bend. Darren O'Mara from Ireland in Clark Curve is P10. Simon of the Desert in Brabham Strait is P7. Simon of the Desert improved is 7th with a 106.216. 0.937 off pole. Octavio 67 in Brabham Strait is P2. Octavio 67 is provisional pole with a 105.148. Carry no face in Clark curve is P4. Oliver Stead in Halewoods Hill is 12. Oliver Stead is up 0.58 in Surtees Bend. Oliver Stead improved is P12 with a 107.921. 2.773 off pole. Jenkweed in Druids Bend is P8. Jenkweed is up 0.12 in Surtees Bend. Timo 1 from United Kingdom in Druids Bend is 3rd. Octavio 67 in Druids Bend is P1. Oliver Stead in Paddock Hill Bend is 12. Jenkweed is 8th up 0.14. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Jenkweed is up 0.37 in McLaren Bend. Timo 1 from United Kingdom in Druids Bend is 3rd up 0.19. Timo 1 is up 0.18 in McLaren Bend. Timo 1 is provisional pole with a 105.106. Jenkweed in McLaren Bend is P8 up 0.56. Jenkweed improved is 7th with a 106.169. 1.063 off pole. Timo 1 in Cooper Straight is first up 0.28. Timo 1 is provisional pole with a 104.953. Melero in Halewoods Hill is P5. Best lap is a 1:05.837. 0.884 off pole. Jenkwheat in Druids Bend is P7. Best lap is a 1:06.169. 1.216 off pole. Timo 1 in Paddock Hill Bend is P1. Timo 1 is up 0.16 in Graham Hill Bend. Timo 1 is provisional pole with a 1:04.651. Five minutes remaining in the session. Jenkwheat in Cooper Strait is P7. Simon of the Desert is 8th. Best lap is a 1:06.216. 1.565 off pole. Jenkwheat in Paddock Hill Bend is P7. Carry No Face in Clark Curve is 4th. Oliver Stead in Surtees Bend is P12. Simon of the Desert in Cooper Strait is 8th up 0.10. Simon of the Desert is up 0.32 in Druids Bend. Oliver Stead in Paddock Hill Bend is P12. Melero in Druids Bend is 5th. Simon of the Desert in Druids Bend is P8. Simon of the Desert is up 0.01 in McLaren Bend. Melero in Paddock Hill Bend is 5th. Simon of the Desert in Brabham Strait is 8th. Simon of the Desert improved is P8 with a 106.178. 1.527 off pole. Darren O'Mara from Ireland in Halewoods Hill is 10th. The qualifying session is now in overtime. Simon of the Desert in Brabham Strait is P8. Oliver Stead in Surtees Bend is 12th. The race session is at Brands Hatch Circuit in Foxham, Great Britain. Timo 1 from United Kingdom is P1. Octavio 67 from Spain is P2. Costo from Canada is 3rd. Carry No Face from United Kingdom is P4. Melero from Brazil is P5. Skitty from United States is 6th. Jenkweed is P7. Simon of the Desert from United States is 8th. Pierre Gable from France is 9th. 25 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Timo 1 is P3. Costo in Paddock Hill Bend is second. Carry no face in Druids Bend is P5. Simon of the Desert in Graham Hill Bend is 6th. Skiddy in McLaren Bend is 8th. Pierre Gable in Clark Curve is P11. Octavio 67 in Halewoods Hill on lap 2 is P2, 0.3 ahead of Melero. Melero is P3, 0.4 behind Octavio 67. Octavio 67 in Surtees Bend is second, 0.3 behind Timo 1. Darren O'Mara from Ireland in Surtees Bend is 11th, 0.4 behind Carry No Face. Octavio 67 in Paddock Hill Bend is second, 0.2 behind Timo 1. Simon of the Desert on lap 3 is 6th, 0.4 behind Jenkweed. Octavio 67 in Cooper Straight is second. Best lap is a 1:05.990. Simon of the Desert in McLaren Bend is 6th, 0.3 behind Jenkweed. Skiddy in Brabham Straight is P7, 0.3 behind Simon of the Desert. Simon of the Desert in Paddock Hill Bend is P6, 0.1 behind Jenkweed. Simon of the Desert is now 6th. Octavio 67 in Graham Hill Bend is second, 0.4 behind Timo 1. Skiddy in Cooper Straight is P6, 0.1 behind Jenkweed. Jenkweed is 6th. Octavio 67 in Brabham Straight is 3rd. Octavio 67 passed Melero for P2. Melero in Halewoods Hill is 3rd, 0.3 behind Octavio 67. 20 minutes remaining in the session. Carry No Face on lap 5 is P9, 0.5 behind Pierre Gable. Melero in McLaren Bend is P3, 0.5 behind Octavio 67. Melero was 0.6 faster last lap. Octavio 67 in Halewoods Hill is P2, 0.2 ahead of Melero. Octavio 67 lost P2 to Melero. Jenkwede in Halewoods Hill is P6. Jenkwede lost 6th to Neil Pardo. Jenkwede lost P7 to Darren O'Mara. Melero in McLaren Bend is second, 0.3 behind Timo 1. Costo in Clark Curve is P4, 0.4 behind Octavio 67. Jenkwede is P8. Melero is P2, 0.4 behind Timo 1. Jenkwede in Halewoods Hill is P8. Best lap is a 1:07.065. 1.508 off the fastest lap. Darren O'Mara in Graham Hill Bend is 8th, 0.3 behind Jenkwede. Melero is P2, 0.2 behind Timo 1. Darren O'Mara in Clark Curve is P8, 0.2 behind Jenkwede. Melero from Brazil in Cooper Straight is P2, 0.4 behind Timo 1. Simon of the Desert from United States in Druids Bend is P11, 0.4 behind Kerry No Face. Melero in Brabham Straight is second, 0.3 behind Timo 1. Kerry No Face in McLaren Bend is P10, 0.3 ahead of Simon of the Desert. Kerry No Face lost 10th to Simon of the Desert. Melero in Cooper Straight is P2. Best lap is a 1:05.446. Simon of the Desert in Halewoods Hill is P10, 0.2 behind Pierre Gable. Simon of the Desert was 1.6 faster last lap. Simon of the Desert passed Pierre Gable for P9. 15 minutes remaining in the session. Melero in Brabham Straight is second, 0.5 behind Timo 1. Darren O'Mara from Ireland in McLaren Bend is P8, 0.2 ahead of Simon of the Desert. Simon of the Desert from United States in Brabham Strait is P9, 0.2 behind Darren O'Mara. Pierre Gable is 10th, 0.5 behind Simon of the Desert. Costo from Canada in Brabham Strait is P4, 0.4 behind Octavio 67. Simon of the Desert from United States in McLaren Bend is 9th, 0.3 behind Darren O'Mara. Darren O'Mara in Brabham Strait is P8, 0.2 ahead of Simon of the Desert. Simon of the Desert was 0.9 faster last lap. Simon of the Desert is P9, 0.1 behind Darren O'Mara. Simon of the Desert lost 9th to Pierre Gable. Timo 1 in Brabham Strait is 2nd, 0.2 behind Melero. Costo from Canada in Paddock Hill Bend is 4th, 0.5 behind Octavio 67. Costo passed Octavio 67 for 3rd. Octavio 67 from Spain is 4th, 0.2 behind Costo. Timo 1 in McLaren Bend is P2, 0.2 behind Melero. Costo in Paddock Hill Bend is P. Best lap is a 1:05.649. 0.526 off the fastest lap. Timo 1 on lap 13 is P2, 0.1 behind Melero. Melero from Brazil in Surtees Bend is P2. Melero passed Timo 1 for first. Melero lost first to Timo 1. Costo in Brabham Strait is P3, 0.4 behind Melero. Timo 1 in Halewoods Hill is P2, 0.1 behind Melero. Octavio 67 is P4, 0.4 behind Costo. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Timo 1 in Cooper Strait is second, 0.2 behind Melero. Pierre Gable in Halewoods Hill is P0.3 behind Darren O'Mara. Pierre Gable passed Darren O'Mara for P8. Pierre Gable lost 8th to Darren O'Mara. Timo 1 in Paddock Hill Bend is second, 0.1 behind Melero. Octavio 67 in Druids Bend is P4, 0.5 behind Costo. Melero in Surtees Bend is second, 0.1 behind Timo 1. Pierre Gable in Halewoods Hill is P8, 0.6 ahead of Darren O'Mara. Pierre Gable was 3.1 faster last lap. Pierre Gable lost 8th to Darren O'Mara. Octavio 67 from Spain is 4th, 0.2 behind Costo. Costo in Druids Bend is 4th, 0.2 behind Octavio 67. Simon of the Desert in McLaren Bend is 11th, 0.3 behind Carey No Face. Simon of the Desert passed Carey No Face for 10th. Carey No Face in Brabham Straight is P11, 0.3 behind Simon of the Desert. Jenkweed in Cooper Straight on lap 16 is P7, 0.5 behind Neil Pardo. Jenkweed was 1.4 faster last lap. Jenkweed passed Neil Pardo for 6th. Timo 1 in Druids Bend is P2, 0.3 ahead of Octavio 67. Octavio 67 in Cooper Straight is 3rd, 0.4 behind Timo 1. Costo is 4th, 0.5 behind Octavio 67. Octavio 67 was 0.8 faster last lap. Octavio 67 in Brabham Straight is P3. Octavio 67 lost P3 to Costo. Costo in Druids Bend is P4, 0.3 behind Octavio 67. Timo 1 in Cooper Straight is 2nd. Best lap is a 1:05.123. Timo 1 passed Melero for 1st. Costo in McLaren Bend is P4. Five minutes remaining in the session. Darren O'Mara in Druids Bend is 8th, 0.3 behind Jenkweed. Timo 1 in Halewoods Hill is 2nd, 0.2 behind Melero. Melero in Surtees Bend is P2. Melero passed Timo 1 for first. Costo is fourth, 0.9 behind Timo 1. Timo 1 was 0.8 faster last lap. Costo is now first. Timo 1 from United Kingdom in Brabham Straight is P4. Melero is third. Best lap is a 1:05.253. 0.130 off the fastest lap. Jenkwede in Halewoods Hill is 7th, 1.3 ahead of Darren O'Mara. Jenkwede lost P7 to Darren O'Mara. Jenkwede lost 8th to Simon of the Desert. Melero in Halewoods Hill is P3, 0.5 behind Octavio 67. Melero is now second. Carry No Face in Surtees Bend on lap 20 is P10, 0.2 behind Jenkwede. Darren O'Mara in Halewoods Hill is P7, 0.5 behind Neil Pardo. Timo 1 in Paddock Hill Bend is third, 0.1 behind Melero. Darren O'Mara in McLaren Bend on lap 21 is 7th, 0.3 behind Neil Pardo. Neil Pardo from England in Brabham Straight is 7th battling Darren O'Mara. Pierre Gable from France in Brabham Straight is 11th, 0.2 behind Jenkwede. Pierre Gable was 11.4 faster last lap. Pierre Gable passed Jenkwede for 10th. Timo 1 from United Kingdom in Brabham Straight is P3, 0.2 behind Melero. Jenkwede is 11th, 0.4 behind Pierre Gable. Timo 1 from United Kingdom in Graham Hill Bend is third, 0.4 behind Melero. The leader has just finished the race. Costo finished P1. Melero finished second. Timo 1 finished P3. Skitty finished P4. Oliver Stead finished 12th. Octavio 67 finished 5th. Darren O'Mara finished P6. Neil finished 7th. Simon of the Desert finished P8. Carrie No Face finished P9. Pierre Gable finished P10. Jenkweed finished 11th. The race session is at Brands Hatch Circuit in Foxham, Great Britain. The wind speed is 1 km/h from the east. Oliver Stead is P1. Jenkweed is P2. Pierre Gable from France is 3rd. Carrie No Face from United Kingdom is 4th. Simon of the Desert from United States is P5. Neil Pardo from England is 6th. Darren O'Mara from Ireland is P7. Octavio 67 from Spain is P8. Skitty from United States is P9. 25 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Oliver Stead is P1. Jenkweed in Paddock Hill Bend is 2nd. Neil in Druids Bend is P5. Darren O'Mara in Graham Hill Bend is 5th. Skitty in McLaren Bend is 7th. Pierre Gable in Clark Curve is 8th. Pierre Gable is now 8th. Costo from Canada in Paddock Hill Bend on lap 2 is P10, 0.5 behind Pierre Gable. Costo is now P9. Darren O'Mara in Druids Bend is P7, 0.2 behind Costo. Darren O'Mara lost P7 to Pierre Gable. Skiddy in Cooper Strait is third, 0.1 behind Neil. Neil is P3. Melero from Brazil in Brabham Strait is P4, 0.3 behind Neil. Neil in Halewoods Hill on lap 3 is P2, 0.4 ahead of Kerry No Face. Melero in Graham Hill Bend on lap 3 is P3, 0.3 behind Neil. Costo is fourth, 0.3 behind Melero. Kerry No Face in Clark Curve is fifth, 0.3 ahead of Timo 1. Timo 1 from United Kingdom in Paddock Hill Bend is sixth, 0.3 behind Kerry No Face. Timo 1 passed Costo for fourth. Costo in Druids Bend is P5 battling Timo 1. Costo passed Timo 1 for fourth. Kerry No Face from United Kingdom in Cooper Strait is sixth, 0.4 behind Timo 1. Timo 1 was 4.5 faster last lap. Darren O'Mara in McLaren Bend is P9, 0.1 behind Jenkwede. Darren O'Mara is now 8th. Darren O'Mara lost 8th to Simon of the Desert. Darren O'Mara lost P9 to Jenkwede. 20 minutes remaining in the session. Timo 1 is 4th. Best lap is a 1:06.613. 1.178 off the fastest lap. Timo 1 passed Costo for 3rd. Costo in Graham Hill Bend is 4th, 0.4 behind Timo 1. Costo lost 4th to Kerry No Face. Costo lost P5 to Neil. Skiddy in McLaren Bend is 2nd, 0.2 behind Melero. Costo is P6, 0.5 behind Neil. Neil was 0.9 faster last lap. Kerry No Face from United Kingdom is P4, 0.1 ahead of Neil. Melero is P1. Costo in Cooper Strait is P5, 0.2 behind Neil Pardo. Carry no face exiting pits. Costo passed Neil Pardo for P4. Neil is P5, 0.1 behind Costo. Simon of the Desert in Brabham Strait is P7, 0.5 behind Pierre Gable. Timo 1 in Halewoods Hill is P4, 0.1 behind Neil Pardo. Skiddy in Halewoods Hill is P7, 0.3 behind Pierre Gable. Skiddy was 1.4 faster last lap. Pierre Gable is 6th, 0.4 behind Neil. Neil in Surtees Bend on lap 7 is P6, 0.1 behind Pierre Gable. Neil Pardo is now 5th. Pierre Gable in Clark Curve on lap 7 is P7, 0.4 behind Neil Pardo. Neil Pardo in Paddock Hill Bend is P6, 0.2 behind Skiddy. Jenkweed in Halewoods Hill is P9. Best lap is a 1:06.891. 1.739 off the fastest lap. Neil in Cooper Strait is P6, 0.3 behind Skiddy. Timo 1 in Halewoods Hill is 4th. Best lap is a 1:05.106. "15 minutes remaining in the session. Neil in Graham Hill Bend is P6, 1.0 behind Skiddy. Simon of the Desert in Clark Curve is 4th. Darren O'Mara in Brabham Strait is 7th, 4.6 behind Neil. Simon of the Desert is P4, 1.0 behind Timo 1. Pierre Gable in McLaren Bend is 8th. Simon of the Desert in Surtees Bend is 4th, 1.4 behind Timo 1. Timo 1 was 0.6 faster last lap. Skiddy in Clark Curve is P5, 3.1 ahead of Neil Pardo. Pierre Gable in Brabham Straight is 8th, 2.2 ahead of Jenkweed. Jenkweed in Graham Hill Bend is P9, 1.1 behind Pierre Gable. Timo 1 in Cooper Straight is 3rd, 3.2 ahead of Simon of the Desert. Jenkweed in Paddock Hill Bend is P9, 0.5 behind Pierre Gable. Ten minutes remaining in the session. Melero is P1. Neil in Halewoods Hill is 7th, 3.8 behind Darren O'Mara. Kerry No Face entering the pits is P10. Costo in Halewoods Hill is P2, 0.8 behind Melero. Kerry No Face exiting pits. Pierre Gable in Brabham Straight is P8, 0.8 behind Neil Pardo. Costo in Paddock Hill Bend on lap 16 is P2, 0.8 behind Melero. Pierre Gable in McLaren Bend is 8th. Timo 1 is P3, 0.5 behind Costo. Jenkwit in Halewoods Hill is 9th. Best lap is a 1:06.740. 1.832 off the fastest lap. Timo 1 in Halewoods Hill is 3rd, 0.2 behind Costo. Timo 1 passed Costo for 2nd. Costo in Graham Hill Bend is P3 being passed by Timo 1. Pierre Gable in Halewoods Hill is 8th, 0.5 behind Neil. Pierre Gable passed Neil Pardo for P7. Neil in Halewoods Hill is P9. Five minutes remaining in the session. Costo is 3rd, 1.3 behind Timo 1. Timo 1 was 1.3 faster last lap. Melero in Halewoods Hill is P1. Best lap is a 1:05.030. 0.122 off the fastest lap. Melero lost P2 to Costo. Melero lost 3rd to Simon of the Desert. Jenkwit in Cooper Strait is P8. Simon of the Desert in McLaren Bend on lap 19 is 4th, 0.4 behind Melero. Timo 1 is 1st. Best lap is a 1:04.908. Costo is 2nd. Simon of the Desert in Graham Hill Bend is P4, 0.4 behind Melero. Darren O'Mara in Halewoods Hill on lap 20 is 6th. Simon of the Desert in Brabham Straight is 4th, 0.2 behind Melero. Simon of the Desert was 8.8 faster last lap. Timo 1 in Cooper Straight is P1, 3.4 ahead of Costo. Simon of the Desert in McLaren Bend on lap 21 is 4th, 0.5 behind Melero. Neil in Clark Curve is 9th. Jenk in Halewoods Hill is 8th. Melero in McLaren Bend is P4, 0.1 behind Simon of the Desert. Melero passed Simon of the Desert for P3. Simon of the Desert in Brabham Straight is 4th, 0.2 behind Melero. Melero in Druids Bend on lap 23 is P4. The leader has just finished the race. Timo 1 finished first. Costo finished second. Simon of the Desert finished third. Melero finished P4. Skiddy finished P5. Jenk finished P8. Oliver Stead finished P11. Neil finished P9. Kerry No Face finished P10. Darren O'Mara finished P6. Pierre Gable finished P7.